Hi, today is my fourth video. Today is English literature, and I thought of doing today's video on classics as it not only kind of illuminates the past but it entirely connected to the present. And students who study classics will kind of increase their vocabulary, and it will increase their ability to construct different complex sentence structures, and it will increase their ability on critical analytical thinking skills as they study and examine and analyze ancient cultures. And classical literature is connected to Greek and Roman literature. One of the things I love about classical literature is that ancient authors made such a beautiful, lofty skill in the use of words. They used a much broader vocabulary. They kind of utilized more complex sentence structures. They kind of painted vivid images by using the right words in the right positions in their context rather than using simply adequate words. So, for understand the historic role of historical context, let's move on to classical literature.
Classic literature is the highest expression of life, truth, and beauty. Different styles of literature will come and go, but the classics can be appreciated for its construction and literary art. Classics have stood the test of time and are known for their enduring themes, timeless characters, and universal messages, and also literature, epic genre is very significant. An epic is a long narrative poem on a great and serious subject related in a lofty style and centered on a heroic figure. Its actions depend on the fate of tribe or nations or the human race. There are two types of epics. One is primary epic and another is secondary epic. Primary epic is oral but not written; it comes from generation to generation. For example, the Iliad by Homer is the primary epic. An epic is usually started with invocation to muses or goddesses. Invocation means getting inspiration, help, courage, and guidance to the muse, goddess of poetry, at the beginning of a hard task like an epic so that the author can complete it successfully. In the Iliad, Homer also seeks inspiration to the goddesses of poetry before starting it. The first line of the Iliad that everyone remembers is the breathtaking goddess of Peleus' son Achilles. A primary epic is originally composed to be sung or recited to music. The first line of the Iliad shows the intention of oral nature. Statement of purpose or theme is another feature of an epic. Theme means the central idea of a literary work, most often suggested indirectly. For example, the main theme of the Iliad by Homer is the glory of war, military values over family life, the short time of human life. Achilles inspires the soldiers by uttering that leaving out from the battlefield without joining the fight is a sign of cowardice, and sacrificing the lives as the heroes is better, and it also brings honor and dignity. In an epic, there must an epic hero who is a distinguished person who is totally different from the common people. In the Iliad, Achilles exhibits godlike qualities that are more than human. Hector is another hero who is almost parallel to Achilles, both in primary and secondary epics. A single combat is a common plot device. In the Iliad, Achilles and Hector also face each other in a mortal combat. They use mortal weapons like shields, spears are also epic elements. Epic simile is another important feature of an epic. Epic simile means an open comparison between two different or dissimilar things or objects of which one is fairly elaborate, such as in the Iliad, Hector has been compared to a boar and a lion. He was like a wild boar or a lion when he turns this way. In an epic, and particularly in a primary epic, some supernatural elements are found. The Iliad is a story in which the gods and goddesses play a vital role. In many fights, the gods and goddesses take part physically and mentally in favor of the soldiers of different countries. In the Trojan War, the god of sea, Poseidon, supports the Greek armies. On the other hand, god Apollo supports the Trojan armies. Long description of things and events is another important feature of an epic. The prince of Trojan, Paris, abducted Helen, who was the most beautiful lady in ancient Greece. Then many dangerous fights had happened between Greek and Trojan only for Helen for the longest time. From this simple point, Homer has composed the epic within 15,000 lines. An epic is usually presented in a lofty style. The instruments or equipment presenting of the battles, vision, characters, description, art, theme that Homer had used to continue the epic more totally grand. We can say that Iliad possesses characteristics of an epic. It's composed in a grand style. It includes an epic hero, supernatural machinery, war, great issues like honor and dignity, the great significance of national interest. So we can call the Iliad an epic or a primary epic. Okay, we continue on epic poetry. They are lengthy narrative poems and ordinary ordinarily detailing heroic deeds. Epic poetry tells a dramatic story in a poem. There are characters in the story. It is usually long and takes place in different settings. Epic poems started in prehistoric times and part of oral tradition. Beowulf is a typical example written in Old English. Well-known people who wrote epics were Homer, Virgil, Ovid, Dante, Edmund Spenser, and Milton. William Wordsworth's prelude plays with epic ideas through the poem is autobiography. Epics have main characteristics: the hero is outstanding, they must be important and historically legendary significant, the setting is large, it covers many nations or the human world, and the known world. The action is made of deeds of great valor and requiring superhuman courage. Supernatural forces, gods, angels, demons, insert themselves in the action. The writer invokes the Muse, one of the nine daughters of Zeus. The poet prays to the Muses to provide divine inspiration to tell the great story. Narrative opens in medias res or in the middle of things, usually with the hero at his lowest point. Usually flashbacks show earlier portions of the story. Catalogs and genealogy paying homage to the ancestors of audience members. Main characters give extended formal speeches. Its use of the epic epic gives a clear picture of the social and cultural patterns of the contemporary life. Talks about the Trojan War. The Trojan War was between the Greeks and Trojans. As I told you before, Achaeans are the Greeks. So this war had happened between Achaeans and Trojans. Trojans are from the Troy. Battlefield was between the places at the top of Asia Minor. So backdrop of the Iliad is that 10 years got the Trojan War. That means the social and political life of the Greece in prehistory reading legend. Another epic quality is military glory over family life. The Iliad admires the family bonds, but it respects much more highly the pursuit of glory won by performing great deeds. Homer makes his characters to select between their family life and the quest for glory, and the most heroic characters choose the latter. Andromache pleads Hector not to go to the war front, but he went to win his father's great glory. And the three distinct genres of Greek drama were related to the human life. They are tragedies, comedies, and satire plays. And another epic quality is Greeks preferred a life out of house rather than restricting themselves within the domestic limits. Mastery in sculpture, architecture, and pottery. They had philosophic and scientific theories. It was within such a developed civilization that we must these Greek dramatists and their drama compositions, they discuss the themes such as fate, current social matters of the society, and bring out into light the dark human emotions. There were more than 100 days in the calendar years of the Athenian state of festival.